queerly beloved, we are gathered here today to talk about some runways. Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to Dress Code, our weekly look at the runways for All Stars 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race. I am the 1940s MILF that just keeps on giving. My name is Imarra, and joining me, as always, is my fabulous co-hostess, the ever so lovely queen of brunch herself, Miss Erin Brokobic. Hello, my dear. How are you?
Hi. I am the 1980s businesswoman who reluctantly goes on vacation because she's providing for a family of four, and baby, she can't leave.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that narrative for both of us. You've got like
She's
business
the
and
mother of the
pleasure on both
household.
sides.
You're giving me very like your nurse Ratched on vacation, and I
Right?
am her lesbian lover.
Yeah, who she's going on
Uh,
vacation to secretly see. She's going on vacation, but they're meeting up, and they can't talk about it
ding,
openly.
ding, ding. Correct.
Uh, how was your time away?
No, it was lovely. I see in the chat how was Georgian Bay. It was so nice. We went on Sunday, and we're there up until today, and we came back today, and I literally got in at 1 p.m. I had a gig at 4 p.m., so I had to get into drag at 2.
Ooh.
And now I'm here doing this, and I'm excited to just relax. It was nice to like swim and enjoy
Oh,
like
yeah.
silence. We went to a diner in a place that I think has a population of maybe 100 people.
Like five.
Yeah, it was. We definitely added to the population numbers in the places that we were, and it was just so nice. And we got to go to this special little national park called Flower Pot Island. Like we had to drive. It was like I'd say 3 minute, bitch. I wish it was like a 3 hour drive to get to the
Oh, that's a
ferry,
difference.
and then you go to Flower Pot Island, and it's called Flower Pot Island because there's these little stone structures that like eroded out of the mountainside to look like flower, and they look like flower pots. Like it just kind of naturally happened. Um, and it was so nice to go and just enjoy the water. It was freezing water, and the beach, like it's not a sand beach, it's like rock, bitch, and it's like rock steep drop. So I dipped in the water for maybe 10 minutes, and then I slept on the beach.
Nice. Yeah, you got it out of your system, and then you're like, oh, that's enough. I think. I think that's enough.
Exactly. I did a lot of sleeping this weekend and a bit of a day of binge drinking,
Oh, good
and
for
that's
you.
about it. How about you? How was your week?
My week was pretty good. Definitely not as charming and relaxing as yours, but I'm. We are back again, doing yet another episode of Dress Code, and it's lovely that you were talking about being on a beach because this week's theme was hot tropics, which I was slightly disappointed was not hot topics and that they were just doing goth all over again, but like worse
Or
because I
or
would
they were
love
going to
that.
do Wendy Williams. Hot
Or they were going to
topics.
do Wendy Williams. Everyone does a Wendy Williams runway. It's all very. Everyone's wearing a chest plate and no padding. Uh,
Yeah, all of them.
yes,
Have you seen that video? Yeah.
I have. They all dress as the Statue of Liberty and faint on camera.
Which, speaking of, Naomi Smalls deserved some recognition for that snatch game she did in season 4 of All Stars of Wendy Williams. I thought she was really good,
I think she did a really
and
good
I
job
think
as well.
yeah, and I think Miss She Devil by Night Trinity the Tuck could have, or actually, I think Manila could have been replaced by Naomi. They took some of Naomi's wins in that season. They were like, we know you're going to send home Manila. We'll keep you
Yeah.
to the end.
We know what's
We got
happening in the
some
script.
We got some friends in the chat. We
Hello,
got
friends.
Prafsina. We got Destiny. Hi, Destiny. We got Albert Premium, Mr.
We got
Mark
Mr. Mark
G,
G, and we got Lucy Flawless,
Lucy
who I'm
looking
doing a
while
show
she
with later
paint
tonight.
Tiana's.
Spoilers for me being at Woody's tonight. I'm going to be wearing this again. I've made the commitment to glue down the wig, so it's not coming off.
Are you two? Are you at Woody's with Lucy?
Yeah.
Amazing. With who
Yay.
else?
Georgie.
Amazing with Lucy.
Yeah. I mean, you know her.
Yay. Bitch, get your
Uh,
coin.
yeah, right. That's. I'm
Get
here
your
for the
coin.
paycheck and the week's worth of drink tickets. Let's go.
my God, right.
Remember that? Remember when you got drink tickets that were good for an entire week and then you were just like, this is so dangerous for my liver.
I love those drink tickets. I remember I just like would have a drag suitcase full of Woody's drink tickets, and
Literally
I'd
full
never
because they give you 500 and they're good for a week and then they just keep adding on.
and then I would literally have some in my suitcase from that would expired a year ago. Like
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Every time I clean out my drag bag, I'm just like, oh, well, there's like 15 more drink tickets.
Amazing. Well, Miss Imarra, I'm excited to dig into these looks. It was an interesting runway theme.
It was.
How did you feel overall with the episode, with the dolls, the divas, the runway?
I mean, I personally love an episode where we get to see the queens like perform in a more sort of traditional drag setting. So seeing them do a girl group was a lot of fun for me. In terms of the overall the runway theme, I thought it was interesting, and in general, as I've been feeling with most of the runways this season, I felt like everyone was quite safe with their approaches to it. No one thought like super outside of the box, so it ended up being kind of generic, but there were a couple of looks that I really liked. So
I'm gonna check. I don't know if Akira posted what she would have worn, but I mean I just wish I could see Akira on every single runway.
yeah,
I think she would have absolutely slaughtered
can they bring her back as like a part-time
this.
competitor where she just does the runways?
Yeah, maybe that is the game within a game. The girls have all just been filming their own runways and competing like silently in the
Oh, can you
background.
imagine? Which is like they tell them what the challenge is and give them like a modified like script or like version of it, and they have to film their own thing, and whoever does the best job overall gets to come back.
Yeah, and Serena Tasha is still there, and they're like, "Babe,
Babe,
it's not in the cards for you."
this wasn't actually for you. This was for like
Oh,
Yara
Craft Sinner
onward.
said I saw Scarlett's runway for this theme and it was macabre parrot themed. Okay, let me look up Scarlett's look.
Yeah, I mean there was
And then maybe
feathers were definitely a feature on this runway. They were used in two of the looks pretty prominently.
when you think of tropics, does your mind go to parrot?
It goes to more sort of like colors and feel and sort of like weight of fabric than anything. Like I feel like when I think tropics, I think sort of like light, flowy fabrics, some like bold, colorful prints, something that's sort of like airy but has a lot of movement to it, and some like touches of metallics. That's sort of where my mind goes.
Yeah, yeah. My mind kind of does initially go to the obvious, which is the J Lo Versace look, which we saw on the runway kind of twice.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. Uh, but I think my brain also kind of goes into like coconut crabs and like how they're disgusting and huge. And I kind of love that. And I kind of wish
I
someone.
also kind of love that for you.
Yeah, I kind of wish someone gave us like a Ben de la Crab kind of like fly moment, but like coconut crab, like the lobsters from the Amanda Show. Like I kind of wish that
bring in the dancing
happened
lobsters.
on,
Yeah.
yeah. I kind of wish that happened, but we got kind of some of the same. Some people who took tropics and interpreted it to be like Carnival and Brazil, which is I don't know if Brazil is Brazil the tropics.
I mean, it's South America. It gets pretty warm there. They're known for beaches and things, so I think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, and then there were some looks that I was very. Most of Brazil is in the tropics. However, half of the population live in areas cooled either by altitude, sea winds, or polar fronts. The more you know.
We are so educational on this stream. We teach people so many things that they would never have known.
Yeah, let's add educational to
yeah.
the.
Can we add that to the tags real quick, Lizzie? I don't know on what level. Maybe like preschool, but like educational.
But I was gonna say.
Was that the More You Know soundtrack?
That was the More You Know.
Yes, it was.
And there were some looks I was kind of disappointed in, so I'm excited to hear you read a little.
I mean, I don't know why you would want that from me. I'm always such a kind person. Whatever you're talking about.
I know exactly who you're gonna rip into, and I'm very excited to hear you rip into. I mean, I have a look in mind that I'm like, this is kind of rotted. I don't love this. So
okay.
I'm excited to get to it. Also, folks, if you are watching, you can feel free to follow us on social media. I'm at Erin Brokobic. This is at _Imarra. That's her full name.
Yeah.
At _ Imarra. You must address her as such at all times.
Yeah, please.
If you are so inclined, you may tip the channel and tip us. Tip the divas. You know, we get into drags. We get into drags for you and provide some entertainment. Sorry, I spent an entire week at the cottage with my friends, and we just kept speaking
talking Australian accents.
It's British, but sure, yeah. I'm sure it sounds like Australian.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Australian
is derived from
small mouth,
Britain, so.
small teeth,
small teeth,
small mouth,
just a couple of
small
little teeth. Are you going to do it on a Tuesday?
I also keep doing the Voldemort voice.
Elaborate.
Because like the boy who lived has come to die, and I just keep doing it with everything.
Like your chest.
The drag queen who lived has come to judge. Like I just keep doing it with everything.
Please provide all of your critiques in that voice.
I'll do at least one line in that voice.
Amazing.
For each of the.
You have utterly destroyed Lizzie. I just want you to know that. There is cackling happening.
I'm just gonna. Now I know what my microphone work is when I restart.
It's just that voice.
Oh,
welcome to brunch.
The people who've come to brunch are here to eat. I want to announce that a little drag brunch is back in order. We are
amazing.
Restarting August 8th. August 8th is the return to brunch. So if you would like to see myself and a little Miss Juice Box turning the party on August 8th at Glad Day Bookshop, we will be there at Glad Day Bookshop. So I know that's a bit of a cross promotion thing, but you know what? I'm just excited, and I wanted to share that it's going to be happening, and you know, brunch is back, and that's what I'm happy about.
I think we're all very excited that brunch is back, so don't feel bad about promoting it. People are going to love coming back to it and love seeing you. So that's all the kindness out of the way. Let's fucking rip into some bitches.
Yeah.
Alrighty, starting off with Eureka O'Hara as a beach ball. You know, conceptually, I love this. Execution-wise, there's really nothing to it. There's really nothing I can say. It's like she is quite literally a beach ball, and she didn't take it any further than that.
How would you improve this?
I don't know if I could. Actually, no. I would get a big sort of like ruffle, sort of like shawl thing and make it look like a volleyball net. So it'd just like bring more elements of camp into it.
Okay. I fully agree with that concept. I will also say, Craft, I agree. The cut of the bodysuit on this is lovely. Destiny, I agree. It had potential. My concern with this look is it is very basic. It's very standard. Like, I could see this at Woody's. You know what I mean?
I have
because you brought up Woody's just now. But like, it's not revolutionary to be like, here's a beach ball and I have a look that's beach themed.
It's a swimsuit you're wearing to the beach. The theme is the tropics. Like, that's really all there is to it.
I think Mr. Mark G does, you know, I don't get tropical from this look. I don't get tropical from this look either. My concern with Eureka is I have seen her pull out some conceptual ass looks. And why would you wear this wig with the colors that don't match the beach ball colors instead of just doing swimsuit portion Miss Cruise 2012?
Absolutely.
Lucy Follows, exactly. But like, why not? Because you're known for pageant loafs. Imagine if she did a beach ball loaf, like a beach ball on her head.
Yeah.
Would have been better than this. This is just so...
it's rudimentary. Is like it is it feels very like early career drag, like making the best of what you have. And because we know she doesn't just have this, even with the looks that we've seen in her so far, like we know she has so much more than this. So like the execution on this is very disappointing.
Sunscreen on her nose, that's a good concept as well. I also just think, like, imagine if it had just actually been made out of cut up beach balls. Like,
Yeah.
I think this look as like a cat suit head to toe of cut up beach balls would have been a lot cooler and sleeker. I mean, she's clearly not giving tropics, so I think we've abandoned the concept of this being any kind of tropical look at all altogether. It's just, oh, I want more from Eureka, and it's annoying because I feel like on season 10 she was giving more than what she's giving right now, and yeah,
Yeah, Destiny
because
Child makes a good point. Like she also came out with a beach ball as if to like, do you get it? Do you get the reference? Like it's me.
I agree, Behemoth there. I still kind of I like it and I appreciate it, but if the category is tropics, tropics is not beach. Tropics isn't beach party. It's not teenage dream Katy Perry. It's not California girls. Like tropics is like parrots and vines and palm trees and like, yeah, there might be beaches in the tropics, but this gives me like I can go to the beach down the street and I'm not in the tropics. I'm in Toronto. So
Yeah.
it's like
This is
it's just
just
not hitting the
summer. Like it's
category.
not tropics. It's just summer.
It's summer. It's very summer. For me personally, because she didn't do the assignment, this is like a C or a D.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like this was tropics. I it was just hot.
Destiny said gave community pool. She is kind of giving community pool. But yeah, it is also like I agree with Lizzie. The body is right though. Lots of nice lines. It's kind of giving like swimsuit competition,
Hmm.
right? Like in a pageant,
It
she's
is.
doing like not Miss Continental, but she's
No,
doing
she's doing
like
Entertainer of the Year. She's doing a themed
Entertainer of
package.
the Year, and it's a themed swimsuit
Yeah,
portion, and that's kind of what she's serving.
yeah. It's yeah. All I can say is yeah, because you're hitting it on the head. There's nothing
Do
beyond.
you feel like some of these girls had to really rush these looks? Because I have a feeling like a lot of these designs are very rushed.
It's it's looking like that on a number of them. And I mean, this was obviously filmed during a time where access to resources was not at its peak, but even like conceptually, I feel like there's something lacking effort-wise for some of these looks.
Yeah, it's probably because of COVID that access to like fabrics and designers wasn't easy. But I think, for example, someone like Akiria, very smart of her to just basically get one designer to work on most of her stuff. Like she got Joshua Naponte to do most of her stuff and was able to just be like, here's the coin, let's get it done, versus like if your like shipping times are probably longer, your access to materials is probably reduced. That's kind of why we're getting these kinds of runways. It's just, yeah.
But also, I mean, that brings up an interesting point for me, which is where, like, in the beginning of the Drag Race series, there was such a focus on the queens, like, producing their own looks, which is why I think someone like Raja has had so much consistency so far because she does sew, she can sew, and she's sort of developed her aesthetic along with that rather than relying on designers to get things done.
That's true. That's true. It's just that I think if you are someone who doesn't sew, like I do not sew, I know that my time in preparing for this show would need to be spent figuring out how I'm going to get stuff done in like a time efficient manner, right? Like I know like okay, Lucinda, we need to work this out and like
Yeah.
pump out some looks and like I'm only working with you and that's pretty much it. Like that's kind of the issue is I think that maybe they stretched themselves thin because they were like different designers means I can serve different aesthetics on the runway. but then that means that you may not get your items in time, or they may not fit. You might not be able to do a fitting in time. So I think that's kind of the what we're witnessing on the runway is that issue. Let me see where you kind of miss some
What
of
are the
the. I do
Canadian
miss the
drags
sewing
gonna do if
challenges.
Lucinda gets
I
on
want
the
more
show?
sewing challenges.
We're gonna panic if Lucinda gets on Canada's Drag Race. We're all gonna panic.
We're all gonna. Oh my god, yeah, we're all gonna walk into the workroom like shit. Fuck. And also, thank you, Mr. Mark G, for tipping $10. That's much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is just basic. Okay, so this is our first iteration of the JLo Versace dress. It reads more like a caftan. I don't love the proportions of this.
Really?
And it could just be like this particular photo, but I remember seeing it sort of in motion on the runway. It feels like everything sort of swallows Ginger in this look. I think the hair is too big. I think there's too much fabric, and you lose her.
I just saw this comment in the chat from Behemoth Bear. This is like if Ditto saw Jan and then tried to transform into it.
Yeah.
That is the fucking tea.
This is Jan, Ditto of Jan, who was Ditto of JLo.
It's reductive, in the words of Madonna. It's reductive. Someone else said, yeah, it's kind of like a regular season of Drag Race. I still like it. It's clean. It's giving me a bit more aesthetic than Eureka's look. Like I would rank this higher than Eureka's look. Not that it's that much higher than Eureka's look, but it's still like, there's at least like she's showing legs, so there's a little bit of like height to Ginger, even though she's like 5 foot nothing. There's flowiness. I agree with Zaldi. Zaldi said on the runway, like it kind of ate her up a little bit. And yeah, it's just, I feel like with a lot of the runways, they're just like missing a little bit of like a, you know what I mean? Like a, take me there. Like give me that like, that like X Factor, je ne sais quoi kind of thing. And it's almost like, I talked about this last week about like flavor and like tasting their flavor in the look. And I think only like 1 or 2 people did that on the runway this week. But like, this doesn't say Ginger to me. Like I could walk out in this look tomorrow, and you could walk out in this look tomorrow, and I'd be like, oh, you look good, Imarra. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's reading very pedestrian. That's, I think, one of the other things is like the looks so far, and kind of like quite a few of the looks on the runway, like aren't reading to me as drag. Like they're reading as sort of like pedestrian, sort of store-bought. Like there's nothing about this that has any exaggeration to it. I don't think there's any embellishment on it. There's no like stoning or beading or anything. There's no real like, if she'd pushed it really far and made the train like super huge and super flowy or something like that to match the volume of the hair, I feel like it may have had more presence to it, and also she would have been able to give it more character, but it doesn't look like this was designed for a specific challenge. It feels generic.
He 100% agreed. Seeing the people in the comments are like, in the chat are like figuring out all the different ways they would modify this. And I really want to echo Destiny saying like break up the print. I agree, Craft, like maybe a trim. I think Craft said there was a trim, or Alberta, like maybe a trim, an embellishment of some sort. It would be really cool if this fabric was a mixture of sheer and opaque, kind of like alternating sheers and opaques, and like then it would add a little bit more to the eye to look at. It's also, I think it's becoming very clear to me that, yeah, what we're seeing is pandemic drag, that they had limited access to resources. And clearly for Ginger, her wig person was on deck. Like her wig person was ready to go, but her costume person was probably not. And so she's kind of stuck with these looks that are just kind of like very middling, very like not really having a vision. So yeah, it's still kind of hitting the assignment, but not very well for me.
Yeah, it's doing better than Eureka's. It's also I mean, we sort of talked about it being sort of the obvious pull and the obvious reference for this theme and this runway, but it's okay.
She did the job, not very well.
She showed up to work.
JLo Part 2.
Yeah, so this this isn't giving me Jan. This is giving me like Janice from Long Island. Like this has a lot of character to me, and I think Jan did a better job of like bringing some flavor to the garment than a lot of the other girls did. I still don't think it's particularly like it doesn't really read as tropics to me either. There's and it's kind of like Fran Drescher does J Lo, is what this gives me.
You know what? I've been hard on Jan for a lot of the runways. However, I think that this is actually a really good look and actually kind of gives a bit of her flavor because it's like, yeah, it's sexy, but it's like not sexy because it's like camp. And I think like since I heard or remembered that her drag mom is Alexis Michelle, a lot of Jan like makes more
Oh,
sense
that makes
now
sense.
where I'm like, oh, this is who you are. Jan Drescher, very funny Alberta.
Hail.
Um, it's I feel more of a Jan flavor in this look than I did last week with the goth
Mm-hmm.
looks. Um, however, it's am I like amazed? No, I will say we've seen a lot of props with Jan. She loves a prop, and I think that's because she realized, oh fuck, I have limited resources. How do I drag up a look, add a prop to it? So we're seeing a lot of props on her runways, and I think she's trying to like compensate for the lack of access to things by adding like I have a koozie or I have shopping bags, which is it's kind of her theater geek brain is doing that. But out of the ones we've seen so far, probably like the most well put together look
Yeah. I
with like a
hadn't thought
story.
about the prop element of the runways until just now, and I think that's contributed a lot to her looks like reading weaker. I think because as we see with the prop coming out and the sort of like acting sort of like campy thing, it feels like she's trying to distract from the garment itself with the props, and so I think I may have you know internalized that before. I think it on this scale, like everything is so cohesive and like the look itself is also kind of a caricature, so the props make sense. Like this, I agree with you. I think this is one of the strongest presentations she's had. I think she looks good. I don't think it's particularly unique, but it's fun, and I enjoyed the sort of whole narrative of it.
Yeah. I will say also thank you, Alberta Premium, for the $10
Oh, thank
tip.
you so
Much
much.
appreciated. Behemoth Bear, I agree. Like this is I want to go watch this person do stuff at the tiki bar. She's kind of giving me, like she says, Snooki. Although she did,
Mm-hmm.
she said Snooki, and I was like, I'm not really getting Snooki from this, but I'm kind of getting like just like
You're getting
drunk
Snooki's
lady
mom.
at the tiki bar who is going to be a disaster in like one shot, and you're kind of just like sipping on a drink from far away, being like, what is she doing? Like, oh, you look into that. Very that. Um,
Speaking of props,
and can you hating props, but also using a prop.
listen, that's alcohol. That's a necessity.
So far, the highest ranked look out of the runways
Yes,
for me.
I agree. I would agree with you. And then that changes suddenly because this is great. This is drag. Like this is fantastic. I think this was she said this was a nod to Sasha Colby as well, which is um,
Yes.
you can't go wrong there. Trans icons loving trans icons. This is fantastic. Like this is giving me the concept of like tropical on a like the blondes runway.
Well, I think we have a blondes expert in the house.
Yeah. Hey Lizzie, didn't you walk for the blondes?
Yes, yes, in my youth, myself and the Hamlin sisters. It
Well,
was a moment.
So we have a qualified expert on hand.
She actually created the blondes. Lizzie
Yeah.
was the original blonde.
You'd never guess. She tries to
No,
keep it
you
under
wouldn't.
wraps, but we're exposing her now.
I will say I have to do this every time I think Kylie has come on screen and I've been here for this show. I've just kind of had to do this.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, bitch, she's so good.
Like, this is someone who understands their drag. Like, this is someone who really knows what they are trying to serve, how they are trying to serve it, and like, this is a like she's consistently been a case of like making the theme meet her aesthetic rather than the other way around.
Yeah, fully agreed. She looks absolutely stunning. It's drag, and it's explicitly trans drag, but it's like it's drag. Like it's so well done. The feathers are placed right. That heel is amazing. The hair, oh my God, the hair. All of this is like head to pussy to shoe perfection. Like
It's so
it,
good.
and it's a bodysuit. You know what I mean? And like they rag on bodysuits, but like it's it's an amazing bodysuit. And look at Eureka compared to this. These are both bodysuits, but a bodysuit can be really impactful and really fashion.
Yeah, this has so many points of interest to it. Like you see the feather in the hair connecting with the feathers on the garment. You see the varying shades of green. You see all of the stoning work that's been done. The like embellishments up on the crotch that make it look like all these feathers are sprouting from her labia. And like, yes, because that's just like a trans drag magic. This is so good. This is so good.
I agree, crap. This is a body yaddy 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 suit. It is
Yes.
very that. I love also the asymmetry, like the feather plumes out here, but then it plumes out on the opposite end. Also, this is I think the best her makeup has looked for me.
Yeah.
He looks like the cheek is like this.
She looks lifted and lovely.
Tens. This is the top ranked. This is like if I'm looking at this and then I go look at Eureka, they're in different competitions.
Yeah, very much so. Pandora.
Our little friend who struggled a little bit
She
this
did
week
struggle
with the
a little bit,
dancing.
but I think this was the most successful runway we've seen Pandora in so far because I think it's the most sort of like in her wheelhouse and she knows what to do with. Like she clearly had a concept for this. She and Jan were just like, this is going to be a character for me. Like this is something that I know what to do with and I can like very easily sort of like sell something. I love a vintage silhouette, as you can tell. This is kind of my thing. So I love the 40s reference. I love the like shape of the skirt, the pops of color, the matching luggage. Again, like a prop, but a prop. She did the same thing that Jan did. Her prop matches her garment almost exactly, and I think it contributes to the story as opposed to taking away from it. This is also Ditto transforming into Tammy Brown. Yes.
Alberta saying this is underwhelming. Destiny saying nope. You know, I'm a little torn. Natalie Imbruglia.mp3 on this look. It's I will say I think my favorite Pandora look we've gotten so far was the blue ball lunch lady look.
Oh yeah.
Like when she was the lunch lady, that was my absolute favorite look she served. It's unfortunate that that was just a look of three looks in total. But you know, it's okay. I don't again feel like this is mega elevated. Yeah, there's a concept, but this is a dress I think that, and I don't know why Lucinda is the theme of the episode, but this is a dress I think Lucinda could like whip up if I was there with my measurements in like 10 minutes. Like it's just not a very complicated aesthetic, and that's not always important, right? You can do simple really well. Like I mean, look, last week fucking like Kylie was basically wearing like a Leg Avenue stocking over her body, but like so good. You know what I mean? Like it made sense. Like it was all like very good and like effective. Again, I just kind of want more drag. And like you said, it's kind of pedestrian.
Okay.
You
What
get
would you have done to
pedestrian?
elevate this?
How would I elevate this?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a few different ways you could elevate this. I think like tropical, like if this would have been another good reveal runway where she then transitioned from the housewife coming off of the plane into, oh, now I'm, I'm the housewife at the beach with my drink. Easy transition. I know we said beach isn't tropical, but she could make it look tropical. She kind of already has a little bit. I mean, to elevate this, maybe just adding a little bit more like this, if the skirt was modified. Like, yes, 1950s housewife, we get it. But like, give me a cool skirt. Like, make it so that it like almost looks like a flower on the bottom itself, or like you are like the tropical plant. The tropical plant from the top is the skirt at the bottom, or just something that's a little bit more like, just because I feel like I could go down to Queen Street West and pick this dress up at like that store originals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna fit me. Like I'm gonna rip the zipper when I put it on, but like I can find it there. And like that to me isn't the most compelling. It's good. I'm gonna say it's good.
Do you think this is a more successful example of pandemic drag than Ginger's?
I I think Pandora's in a very specific scenario. Garden Plaza. To elevate this, I would have worn something different. No, I think Pandora's in a very particular scenario where almost like a Tina Burner, she has come into this with like I'm going to brand myself a certain way and I'm not going to deviate from that brand. And so she has branded herself as like the 50s housewife, kind of older woman of the show. It's just that I think the references, the well has kind of run dry a little bit for me because we've kind of seen this aesthetic and this look already down the runway. Because like, last week she was the housewife whose husband died. And then in the blue ball, she just like, again, lunch lady, like a middle-aged older woman, right? So it's sort of like she's kind of just giving that same aesthetic, but it's like, I don't want the same sandwich every day with like a different condiment. I kind of want a taco one day or a hot dog or like you can tell I went to the cottage and I'm thinking of the cottage food.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the issue I've been having with Pandora and the runways. Clearly, people in the chat hate this look, so I don't know how we can change their minds.
Okay, on to Miss Raja.
This is rotted.
This was so unfortunate. This was so unfortunate. This looks like she made it the day of. Like there's so little here. Again, we're just getting like beach, we're just getting summer. It's just a two-piece swimsuit. Like, do the colors look great on her skin? Yes. Is the hair fun? Is it a complete cohesive look? Sure, but nothing about this says tropics to me.
Yeah, I appreciate people love this. Oh yeah, we are
at
opposite of the
odds.
chat today. But I think I appreciate the like tying in the hair, and I appreciate like the color combination of the top and the bottom. It's just like, again, you could get this at H&M, and not to be the bitch who's like something from H&M isn't good. That's not what I'm saying. I think H&M can be really elevated, and then also spending $500 on a look can also be really boring. However, it's just, this to me reads like they weren't told what looks were runway and what looks were challenge.
Yeah.
And this is a challenge look. Like she thought maybe there'd be a beach challenge of some sort. And then it turned out like, oh, sorry, bitch, that's the runway look. And she was like, fuck. Like, I think that's what this is clearly showing like this is not meant for the runway. This is meant as like a, you know, an acting challenge on the beach or like
Yeah.
something like that. It's just oy, 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 oy.
Also, it feels like, and I feel this way kind of about Gingers and Eureka's as well. It's like, it feels like they had looks made, but they didn't really have them styled specifically. And I think this also ties into like the pandemic drag and the things that they had available to them. But like, it feels like this, like the garment is there, and the garment is like made of bright prints, and like that fits tropical, and like a swimsuit could fit tropical as well. But like, it it feels like it's just the pieces, and like they haven't been intentionally put together. Maybe she needed some props. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some props. How would you have elevated this other than just changing it completely?
I I mean, if we were to keep the same sort of silhouette, the exact same like concept, I would have tried to do a more interesting material with it.
Oh,
So I would have maybe made it a bit more like bird-like and added like feathers and a little like peplum or something like that, and made it cute in that way. Or I would have done something like a little bit more obvious, but done like leaves, like wrap yourself in fronds and things like that. So you don't have to be like covered, but there's something a little more interesting about what you're wearing. If you're going to wear this little, I feel like there has to be something a bit more than it just being fabric.
I agree with that. I agree. Sarong, flowing. I agree. Hi, Kane. Hi, hi, hi. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that would have been nice with this aesthetic. It's just, and I agree. Someone said that she killed it like stomping down the runway. I think maybe it was Behemoth Bear. Like, yeah, I'm never concerned about Raja serving on the runway. Like, Raja knows how to walk. It's funny that both Rajas are really good walkers on the runway.
Yeah.
It runs in the Raja. Um,
It runways in the
or,
Raja.
or it walks in the Raja.
Hey.
But it was, you know what? Because she did so well in the challenge, seeing this, I was really disappointed. Seeing this, I was really, really disappointed because I was like, oh, she has a chance to win because I loved her verse. She performed really well. And then this came down. I was like, no, she's safe. She's lucky she did well in the challenge because this is bottom worthy runway.
It's not cute. And
I liked Alberta's suggestion, like those fruit headpieces. That would have been interesting.
Carmen Miranda hat.
Yeah.
Trinity K. Bonet giving us full carnival. How do you feel about this?
You know what? I think she's just pulling from like her pageant closet. Like, I think she's worn this for a pageant and been like, oh, great, I can wear this for the Tropics runway. Trinity's lucky that she is a pageant competitor because I think with the pandemic drag, she lucked out because she can just pull all these things because she's like, I already have this, ready to go. So we're getting these like mega elevated looks from her. Is it tropics? Is it screaming tropics to me? Yes, we looked it up. Brazil is a tropical country. It's considered the tropics. However, it's nice.
This to me reads more showgirl than it does tropics because it's so strongly like carnival influenced, and that's a very like specific time and a specific event in like Brazil and in like Caribbean cultures. It's reading more as the like presentation. Like I'm pretty sure this was if it was used for a pageant, it was used for a presentation category because it's like very representative of a certain thing. And even though like location wise that is tropical, this to me doesn't read as much as tropics.
However, I will say, and there are some very hot takes in the chat right now. However, in particular, Behemoth Bear saying they liked Eureka's look more than this. I just, she is serving whatever, the carnival aesthetic, she's serving it. Like, this is the hair you see at carnival. These are the feathers. These are the plumes. Like, this is true to form. However, I think you and I both skew a little bit more camp for a runway concept, if that's correct. And I mean, you can obviously tell you. I think we can both appreciate high fashion. I think we can both appreciate camp. It's just that I feel like this is leaning to camp, but it's not camp, right? And it's not leaning fashion. And so I think that's why we're a little bit like on this, because it's just not camp.
Yeah, it feels like just a very direct reference to a very specific thing, and this doesn't feel like it's Trinity to me either. Like it feels like, again, something that was for a themed presentation thing, and I don't I mean, you almost lose her to me in the garment because there's that gold embroidery and it kind of matches her skin a little bit in this photo. So it feels like you lose her form and all you see is this big red shape.
Yes. Sorry, just and a thing in the chat that's happening. Yeah, this is easily a $2,000 plus outfit. Like these feathers are mega
Oh, absolutely.
expensive. It's just I think because campy things resonate more with me and like the realness stuff doesn't really resonate with me. This just feels too real for us. So we're not saying this is like a, basic outfit. It's not basic. It's
No,
just like for
absolutely
me,
not.
it's just very like, yeah, she's at Carnival, but this is RuPaul's Drag Race. This isn't Carnival.
Yes, I think that's where it is. Is like it reads Carnival. It doesn't really read drag.
Ooh, okay, good question from Garden Plaza. Are we thinking that Trinity's look is a safe outfit or a bottom outfit? I mean, so she won the challenge. She
Yes.
won the week. She performed extremely well in the run in the challenge. I think it's a good outfit. It's on the better end of these looks, and these looks weren't great this week. I have to say, I wasn't like mega in love with them, but um, maybe it is top three. Actually, I mean, maybe we'll get into that. Maybe we'll get into what looks we would say were the absolute runaway winners of this week. But it's definitely not a bottom look. This is not giving us Ginger or Pandora.
I think it's in my top three, but it's the bottom of my top three.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree with Alberta. This is just straight up Carnival. Yeah, you can do Carnival and make it drag. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not here to gaslight, gatekeep, and girl boss drag. You can drag to be whatever you want it to be for you. It's just like, I don't see Trinity. I don't see Trinity in this. This is like Trinity saw something and was like, make that for me, and then wore it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of people bring up if it was in a different color, it might have been better. And I maybe, possibly, like if it was, I don't know, if it was pure white, I think it would have been stunning. Like that would have been really incredible to see. But yeah, I think that the tones and the values, this is just me getting like super nitpicky. Like the tones and the values of the costume, the tones and the values of her skin and the accessories all sort of blend together to be one consistent thing. And then it doesn't really bring focus to anywhere in the look. And so I feel like, again, you just lose her. And it's about this just like big, like dramatic silhouette. And I personally just like I want to see the person wearing the garment as much as I want to see the garment. I want the garment to emphasize them, not the other way around. So that's where it's losing me for this particular thing.
Agreed. Agreed. Chat. What a controversial runway.
We had some opinions.
Yeah, hot and heated. Let's get into the tops in terms of runways and the bottoms of the week. Obviously, our two bottoms in challenge were Miss Jan and Pandora Box. Pandora was
Yes.
rough in that challenge.
She
Um,
was. This was definitely not something she felt comfortable doing, and you could tell.
yeah, I don't like watching people just be very obviously uncomfortable
Yeah.
on the main stage. Um, but our winner of the week was Trinity K. Bonet, and she got to lip sync against Alexis Mateo. Bam!
Bam!
Bam! I
I'm
got a
back home,
freaking
honey.
chorizo.
I'm a fucking drag queen.
I'm a fucking drag queen.
Still iconic.
What else does she say? Oh wait, she has another line that I love saying.
Act a
I
fool,
thought
girl.
Bam.
Act a fool.
Act a fool, girl. Act a fool. Okay. Um, let's talk about your. Let's go with our least favorite look of the week. Let's end on a high note. So now let's do our bottom.
Uh, my least. I think my least favorite was Eureka's.
Lizzie, can we pull up Eureka's look? Can we bring that up on screen?
Yeah, I think of all of the things that we saw this week, I think this was the obviously furthest from the category for me, and not in, and like the concept of it being a beach ball wasn't strong enough for me to like overlook that fact, and also the fact that there just was so little to work with. I think like the only thing that saved Raja's over this for me was the fact that Raja's like print and concept were a little more readable, and this one just wasn't. Like this reads as very generic summer, and I also don't like the hair. So
This hair is bad, and I get it. Wigs only come in like certain color combinations, but this is just like not it. I agree, Connie. This is more Cali than Tropics. Yeah, California Girls. It's giving Katy Perry fantasy, but that's not the runway.
mm-hmm. Is this your least favorite, or do you have another one?
I think my least favorite look this runway was Miss Raja. Raja has not been doing it these past few weeks for me, which is unfortunate because I do love Raja, but last week's goth look was not goth to me. And then this is Tropics. I'll say that. It's Tropics, but it's just like this could be a girl on the beach in the tropics or just a girl like in the tropics, but it's not giving me anything more than that. And I kind of want more than that when I see Raja O'Hara. Like when I see Raja O'Hara, I want I want to fucking look LEWK bitch. And this is nice, but not for me. Um, I think this is unfortunately a case of she thought this would be a challenge look, and it turned out to be a runway look. So if it is that case, obviously I cannot fault her for this decision. It's also possible she had something in mind, and then the thing did not get shipped to her in time, or she wasn't able to do a fitting, or whatever the case may be. She just wasn't able to pull it together, and then she had to make do with something. Um, this runway theme had big colonizer energy. Maybe. It's just that this is very like this look is like so not characteristic of Raja, and it's like extra disappointing because she did so well in the challenge. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with the crotch area. The fit is not it. Alberta, what's happening in the crotch area is she knows that her dance tights go up to a certain point, and the panty needs to look like that because it needs to cover up everything that's bunching in the center for her. And I think that's why the fit looks like the way it does, because she's clearly wearing pads and like tights and then like a flesh toned what's that called?
Shaper?
Like yeah, hosiery
Yeah.
on top of it, and like her pantyhose, and then yeah. So this is like this isn't even swimsuit competition. This is like walking around the bar if your bar is like, I don't know, a pool
Yeah.
gig. Like this isn't even performing wear. This is like so below average that I'm extremely disappointed in this look.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hopefully she will do better next week.
Fingers crossed, because I do think Raj is a front runner, along with people like Kylie and Ginger, um, and Trinity. It's just that this is very disappointing to see from her. But let's end it on a more positive note. My diva, Imarra, who was your absolute? Maybe give me your top three looks and then what your number one look was.
Okay, so top three looks in ascending order. So starting at the bottom, I think my third place look was Trinity's. because there was, even though it wasn't, for us like drag necessarily, and it wasn't camp necessarily. I mean, if I could Behemoth Bear, I would. There was at least like an element of performance and energy to it, so I thought that was one of the more like visually interesting runways that we saw. My second place would be Jan, because I think it's the strongest she's looked. Like, it's the strongest concept. She wasn't relying on the props as heavily, and they were also sort of better suited to the look. There was a full like camp narrative story. And my top place is Kylie Sonic, because fucking look at it.
Look at the material.
Like, look at the material, do the research, see the footnotes. Like, this is drag. This is good. This is very good in very many ways, and I just want to look at it for a very long time.
I may have a similar top three to you as well. I think in ascending order, my third place is going to be Jan. It's going to be Jan, which is actually, I think this is probably one of my favorite looks that Jan has served on the runway. I've not been in love with the things she's served, but this gave me like, oh, she is Alexis Michelle's child. She's camp, but also like sexy, but make it camp, and I can get down with that. And it came through in this look. I think I've kind of not felt that on a lot of her runways. In terms of second, I'd give it to Trinity. I'll give it to Trinity. Just because I can tell how much energy and effort went into the creation of the look, and it's clearly not like a Pandora look. Pandora's was very simple. This is elevated. Number one has to be Kylie Sonique Love. Oh my God. This woman is absolutely eating these girls up. Like this, she is like I tried to make a sports reference and then I gave up. I don't understand sports, but she's in like the AAA baseball, and they're like minor league baseball. Let's ignore that. But she, this is eye candy. Like I can't stop staring at this look. It's unbelievable. So in summary, stan Kylie Sonique Love. I also thought she did amazing in the challenge. It was all around a great week for her. Yeah. Are we just letting Kylie win because she's a bombshell? No, we're letting Kylie win because this is drag. This is like drag. Like this wig is elite. You cannot tell me that this wig is not elite. This outfit is elite. This is a true competitor, and she's doing it her style. And being this exceptionally beautiful takes a lot of effort and talent. If Jan wore this, I would hate it because she would not do this well. Kylie is wearing this and doing it amazingly well because she's executing it in the way it needs to be executed. And I think that that's what also you and I also look for as drag performers. We know, we've been to pageants, we watch the girls compete. We know like execution is important, and sometimes being clean is better than being like over the top. This is like, she is like cleaner than clean. Like, bitch, I could eat off of this look. It's that clean. You know what I mean? Like it's ugh.
Yeah, like this is giving me like Farmer's Walk at Miss Continental. Like this is.
This is plus elite. Like it's every continent. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah.
We love it. We love it, and we
love it. I will also want to screen share because people asked for it. Hopefully, I can screen share. Maybe Lizzie can give me that power. Power.littlemix.mp3. Speakeasy. I can't screen share on Zoom, but you can keep looking at me.
Look at it.
Okay, fixed it.
There we go. This is what Scarlet Envy would have worn on the runway this week if she had not been eliminated. And I like it. She fully just became a parrot. It's kind of camp and
Yeah.
drag mixed together, and that heel is thick, bitch.
See the entirety of the heel. I can just see the ankle strap.
Oh no! Oh, Lizzie, I think that may just be like a framing thing. Let me try
Yeah.
to move.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Lizzie, don't do anything. There we go.
Oh, that is a shoe. You know what this reminds me of? Kimchi's like season 8 rollerblading look where she did that. I think it was a Gautier
Galliano.
reference.
Was that Galliano?
Galliano reference.
Inspired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's giving me that.
It is giving me that, but it's more camp than Kimchi's.
Mhm.
And I really like it. I think this is a sickening look, and I wish we got to see it on the runway.
Now we're back to
You
your
can also
glorious
just
face.
back to me. Hi, hello.
She's back.
We've done it again, Imarra.
We've done it again. Another week down.
Another week down. These girls are. We're getting down to the wire. There aren't that many of them left.
No, we're at 6 now.
Well, there's also the game within a game.
Yes, and who knows what that's going to bring us, or
Poor Dan, that girl. She got told, "You're not doing enough. You're doing enough. You're doing too much. You're not doing enough.
Enough. Go home."
You're sent
But also
home.
you might
no,
come back.
You're not sent home. Never mind. It's a tie. Never mind. Trinity chose you. There's a game within a game.
They also told her she had no soul in this last challenge. Or it had no soul. It was it was like the last blow Jan could take.
Right?
Jan's mental health was crumbling before us. But next week's challenge is Snatch Game.
Here it comes. This is the latest they've had a Snatch Game in an All-Star season for a while, so they were really waiting to like get through some of the girls before they got to this one.
I will say, okay, in the critiques, in defense of that critique, they did not say she doesn't have a soul. It's just that she lacked soul, which just means she was like not giving like authenticity in her performance. You know what? That's kind of like, why is no one telling her that? Like, that's really the critique, is that it feels forced. It feels inauthentic. They're not telling her that. They're like, everyone's saying it and like, you're a fake Jan. No one's gonna respond well to being told, hey, you're fake Imarra. Like, what? That's not nice to hear. Just tell someone like, it doesn't feel like I'm getting 100% authentic you in that performance or in that number or whatever, you know? Just tell the person that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I very much agree.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all. And that's all for us this week. Thanks again to Speakeasy for letting us chat shit for an hour. And thank you, Erin, for continuing to join me and be my fabulous co-hostess. I look forward to seeing you next week and ripping into these whores again. All right. Till next.
Amazing.
Take care, everyone.